The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah! Go Cowboys! This is Cowboys StoryLine with Nick Eatman.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Cowboys Storyline. I'm Nick Eatman here Monday, January the 8th, 2024. And the Dallas Cowboys are your NFC East champions, number 2 seed in the playoffs. This is the goal in mind all year long, is to get the NFC East title, of course. And you wanted to be the number 1 seed and get the bye, but that didn't happen. But best thing after that is to get number 2. And, be at home for 2 weeks. I mean, they're definitely going to be home for 2 weeks. Now, it doesn't mean you're going to get 2 games, but you're going to be home for sure. And Cowboys-Packers, see it here on the screen here Sunday at 3:30 at AT&T Stadium. Everything just kind of went the way it was supposed to go yesterday. I mean, I don't know what you guys were rooting for as far as the opponent matchup and all that. I mean, it had to start with the Cowboys with the win. Eagles' loss was fine too, even though it really didn't matter after the Cowboys win. But I think watching them lose, I mean, everybody gets excited about that. And then after that, it just comes down to preference, and they're all going to be good. I mean, everybody is going to give the Cowboys I would think a tough game. I think if you play. They play Green Bay, but if you had to play the Rams, you had to play Seattle, even the Saints. I mean, everyone presents a different challenge. But when Gilmore is walking off the field when they're holding his arm, and you're like, okay, playing the Rams without Gilmore and you already lost Diggs, that didn't seem like a great plan. So when the Rams won and you ended up being with the Packers, I think that's the better matchup. Obviously, Green Bay is gonna be tough in their own way, but I think it just all kind of worked out. So, all right. 38-10 Cowboys. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about what it means moving forward. We'll talk anything you want. 888-855-2297. You can text at 817-290-3298. Let's get us started off. Before we do, I want to mention one thing real quick before we kind of get going here. On if you watched last Friday's show and you saw we did the ticket giveaway. With Shelby in Virginia, was able to provide 2 tickets. We had the trivia question. It was a pretty tough question. I thought Mark in Philadelphia answered it. He was able to go to the game. We were there. We got to see both of them. They sat together. We took a photo with them. Chris Bean was there with me, and so we were able to get a nice photo on the field. And they had a great game, and they had great seats. I mean, really awesome seats. They're right by the Cowboys tunnel, and it was awesome. A lot of touchdowns happened like right in front of them. So good times for the for them, and it was awesome for Cowboys Storyline to be able to kind of help with that. So that was really one of the most enjoyable moments we've had on the show so far, and I'm glad it kind of all worked out. So really cool stuff. All right, Michael in Colton, California is our first caller. Michael, what's up?
What's going on, Nick? Good morning.
Morning.
And, shout out to the whole Cowboys Nation. Thank you for having me on.
All right.
Hey, I just want to say, how about them Cowboys, Nick? And also, I just think I have called and said some I had my doubts or whatever, but I'm gonna be the first to say, Dak Prescott went out there and balled out. And I heard on another show last night other people saying, "Oh, it wasn't a quality opponent." At the end of the day, they're all professionals. Any given Sunday, anybody could beat anybody. So I'm not trying to hear that. I just want to say, I'm rooting for the Cowboys, and I just think it's pretty awesome to see the complete turn of events. We went from those 2 losses in Buffalo and Miami, and man, I'm not gonna lie, man, I was a naysayer.
Mm-hmm.
I love my Cowboys, and I'm rocking with them all day. I don't care, good or not, I'm still rocking with them. But it's just been cool to see the complete turnaround, and I would say right now that we have the balls in our court. It couldn't have played out any other way. You know what I'm saying? Any other better way, excuse me.
Yeah.
And the ball's in our court, and I would like to see the Cowboys capitalize on that. And Dak Prescott, man, I'm rooting for you, man. And I know my opinion probably don't mean nothing, but
yeah.
I'm rooting for him. And And I'm loving it right now, man. I'm high on the Cowboys right now, man. Straight up, let's go Cowboys!
All right.
And thanks for having me on. You have a great day, Nick.
All right,
and
Michael.
I love your show.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Good start. Way to get it rolling. Loving on Dak Prescott right now. He's had it was a heck of a turnaround this year. I mean, it really was. I mean, he led the league in interceptions last season, and now he led the league in touchdowns. That's the stat you want to be first in. He's second in, I think, quarterback rating and with a 105.9 or 105.3, something like that. That's how he finished, which is the second highest in Cowboys history as well, behind 1 year that Romo had. But second highest and career high for Dak. So, I mean, just an unbelievable turnaround. Give a lot of credit to Dak. He doesn't listen to you guys. He doesn't listen to us. He doesn't listen to the naysayers. He doesn't listen to the people, to some of the positive stuff. He really doesn't. He understands that, what's in front of him and has a belief on how to get there. And, you got to give him and Mike McCarthy and this whole coaching staff, they were able to kind of turn things around for him in a major way. It's really been awesome. All right, Anthony in Seattle is our next caller.
Hey, Nick, how you doing this morning?
Good. How you doing?
I'm doing well, man. Hey, man, again, just like all Cowboy fans, just really happy that we didn't go in there and play with our food. We went in there, took care of business, got things done, and now we can get ready for when real football gets ready to hit, which is the playoffs. What's interesting about this is I was starting to see a lot of narratives that have come through, and I wanted to get your thoughts on it. So Mike McCarthy, when he first took over in 2020, abysmal season, right? Not the start that we wanted, and obviously not for a lot of teams. COVID was a big issue at that time.
Mm-hmm.
But over the next 3 seasons, 12 wins, right? 12 wins each season. Just a few weeks ago, they were talking about the possibility of a Mike McCarthy extension. They also mentioned the same thing with Dak Prescott. And now all of a sudden I'm starting to see a lot of narratives that's coming through that's saying that Mike McCarthy is on the hot seat. And I'm kind of confused. Are you hearing that too?
Of course.
Can you?
I mean, everyone says that.
But I don't understand that. Like, we've been through the Jason Garrett administration where we went through numbers of 8 and 8 seasons, man. And when we got a coach that can consistently win 12 wins for the past 3 years, that's not easy, man. If it was easy, every coach would be doing it. So I'm not understanding
how about any coach would do it?
Right.
In Cowboys history. Nobody in the history of the Cowboys, not Landry, not Jimmy, not Switzer, not Parcells, nobody has done that. So Nick, to that point, they asked Jerry about it, right? Mm-hmm.
And, I know Jerry has to give, and it almost felt like it was a motivating answer, right? It was like, if what do you think of Mike McCarthy? I can't remember the exact question. I'm paraphrasing. But in essence, he just said, we just got to see how the playoff games go. And I'm like, okay, I get that, but is this not the coach you want coaching your team moving forward?
Yeah,
I don't know.
He also said his Mike's numbers speak for themselves. He did say that. He doesn't really want to answer a lot of the questions like that right now. Because everyone's going to have a different mindset when it ends, or however it ends, whatever. But I mean, I don't think you can ignore what he's done so far. 12 wins in 3 in back-to-back seasons is unheard of here, and it speaks to the level of consistency that Jerry is looking for. This is the hire Jerry made because he wanted them to be at that level, and they are. And so there's one thing right now that he hasn't been able to do, and that's be better than San Francisco. That's it. You're not better than San Francisco, and that has been the issue. But I don't think you fire a coach because he's not better than one team. I think you go and you try to get better than that team, and so that's what I think.
Well, I appreciate that, Nick. Right. And if everything plays out, we'll find out who's the better team against San Francisco when we meet them in the NFC Championship game.
All right. That's right.
All right. Thank you, Nick.
Thanks, Anthony. Good stuff. Yeah, I mean, I think that needs to be. I'm glad that Anthony was a caller there, and everyone's going to have their different opinions about McCarthy or whatever. I just think from a consistency standpoint, this is what you're asking for. You want a team to be a consistent winner like that, and let's not. I don't care, what Washington's record is. I mean, we kind of thought, it was going to be a tough game, and I think I said it here. Was it last week or 2 weeks ago? I think it was last week when I was like, if you see a team start off a game and they start running reverses and pitches and throwbacks and tight end, takes the quarterback snap and all that stuff, they're going to get their ass kicked. They are, and they did. I mean, you're going for it on fourth down and all that. You just know when you play 4 quarters of that, and it's not going to hold up. It's not, and you know it. That's why that you're installing all that. And the Cowboys, they had a little bit of a lull there in the second quarter, late first quarter, second quarter. They dominated that game, absolute domination. Washington basically had 2 plays. They basically had a blocked field goal that returned and got them in great field position, and then they had a tipped interception. And the funny thing is everything the Cowboys gave them, they took back. They had a tipped interception and turned it into a touchdown. They had a blocked punt, turned that into a touchdown, and then a lot of other plays along the way. I thought the Cowboys were really strong yesterday. I thought that was a really good game. I don't care what it was, a division win on the road with a chance to win, hats and T-shirts on the line, and they went in there and they took care of business. And I think the Cowboy fans should be excited about the way they played in that game, regardless of what Washington's record is. All right, let me get a couple of text questions here. This is Steve in Virginia. He said, Nick, how much are you concerned about Aubrey's game yesterday playing with his head going forward? No, he missed a field goal that hit the upright. That's it. I mean, that's his only miss of the season. He kicked the ball, hit the upright in Washington. I mean, if you were down there, and most people weren't, but some people were in the stadium. That conditions, that wind, you kind of figured it was going to be something like that. So for him to miss that kick, and that's it. That's the only miss. Don't throw any other play out there, okay? If you're not going to block anyone, then yeah, you're going to miss a lot of other kicks because they're going to get blocked. So if you're not going to block, then yeah. But I'm talking about kicking the ball, striking it, and getting it through the uprights. He hit the upright, and he missed it. He comes back and hits a 50-yarder. I mean, are you concerned? I mean, I'm not. I mean, the 50-yarder should help. It should help. Fantastic season. Arguably, you could make the case this is one of the best seasons by any kicker in the history of the NFL. Not just rookies. No, in the NFL. When for a place kicker to do what he did last year or this year, that's phenomenal. So no, I'm not really concerned at all. Another text question. This is from Mike in Orlando. He says, is it fair to say the organization has moved on from Gallup? There was a couple of plays where Dak had him open, but went somewhere else with the ball. As random Cowboys, Kendall Watkins, blocking tight end. Don't have a lot of stories on him. Just big, number 83, I believe. Michael Gallup. I haven't moved on. It's not safe to say. I know. I mean, I don't think they've moved on at all. And in fact, I mean, if you just look at his contract, I don't know why he wouldn't be on the team next year. It's going to cost the exact same thing to keep him than to cut him. So I don't see that happening, honestly. I mean, we'll see what happens in the offseason. Maybe there's a trade or something. I don't know. But no, and Dak threw to him a couple. I mean, the interception that he threw that got tipped up in the air was actually thrown to him. So, but no, he's not. He's made some play again. We've gone. I'm not doing this Michael Gallup like carousel again. It happens all the time. Goes in some lulls. Everyone calls on here. What's wrong with them? All that, and then next thing you know, he makes a catch, makes a play, creates forces a pass interference penalty. He's like your fourth receiving option. That's what he is. I don't know why we're really talking about it. Honestly, it's just not the time to really talk about that. And if it comes down to money, That's not the Cowboys' problem right now. They're not worried about it. Get to the offseason. They see they'll make some decisions on what they want to do with that. All right. Our next caller is Joe in Western New York.
Okay, here we go.
What's up, Joe?
Caller.
First time caller. All right. There we go. What's up, man? How are you doing?
I'm doing well. A Cowboy fan up here in Buffalo land.
Okay. Well, what did you think about the game?
Well, I like the games. There's a couple of things I've got concerns on, and that's on the special teams.
Okay.
Haven't we? How many times have we had a fake punt where they got the first down? Is it twice this year?
Yeah. Twice.
And then, so the special team on the punt, and then letting that guy get through to block that kick.
Mm-hmm.
That's uncalled for. I mean,
yeah.
So my concern is I'm hoping they look at the special teams and get that done. The other thing, do we have a stats on third down conversions on 4 yards or less?
I'm sure there is. Yes, there is a stat on that. I mean, they have stats for everything in this league, but I'm sorry, I don't have that one in front of me. Like,
my question is why on some of them, why do they always bunch up and just try and push it through the middle? Why don't we do any RPOs?
Yeah, I don't have a good answer for you. I think I don't like the fact that they do that a lot. They do kind of bunch up, and I don't love that because the guys that you're bunching together to me aren't as strong as the guys on the other side. I would rather create space and try to get away from them because, I mean, I saw it in a game against Detroit last week. They put Tolbert. They slide Tolbert down into the line of scrimmage. He just kind of muddies it up a little bit, and he's not big enough to like make a difference. It's not like you're bringing in, like a really strong, powerful blocker in there. So I don't know. I've never understood the bunch formation when you don't have. It's like playing big boy football when you're not the biggest boy. So that's right. You're right. I don't understand that part either. But I'm not really with you on the special teams though. I mean, they gave up some plays. They've made more plays than they've given up by far.
Two fake punts and not even having anybody cover the guys.
Well, that's a problem because they want to play Tolbert. And if you go back and watch, Tolbert's been the guy, I think on both of those. So that one, that they need to fix that. Unless they're going to move Tolbert to cornerback, which they're not. So I don't understand why they're making him play corner. He's not a corner. And so on that play, when they fake it, he becomes a defensive player. And that's not what he is. So they need to change that because I think teams are going to keep seeing that.
Oh, that's my
yeah.
Other than that, I'm ready.
All right, Joe.
Have a good one.
Thanks for the call, first time caller. Appreciate that. All right, got a lot of stuff going here. We got next caller is Joseph in Amarillo. Joseph.
Hey, good morning, Nick. How are you doing?
Good. How are you doing?
Oh man, loving that victory out there. I feel like that was just a complete team win.
Yeah.
Excited the fact that they, as another caller said earlier, didn't play with their food.
Yeah.
Went out there and took care of business.
Yeah.
It was a big, big win. Also, first-time caller.
All right.
Had to make sure to call in today. I was just too excited to hold it back, and I'm really excited to see where this team goes. I think we are one of the most complete teams that I think we've seen under Mike McCarthy's reign here, and I would like to just see where this takes us now. It's exciting.
Yeah, it's definitely exciting for sure. I mean, I don't know what else to say. I mean, like this is one of those things that it's been kind of called it no man's land for a while, where everyone wants to just see what happens in the playoffs, but you can't get there. I mean, we've been doing this all year. What happens in the playoffs? What happens in the playoffs? Well, now we get to find out. We get to finally find out, that this thing really matters. But, they had to get there. And the Cowboys had to be focused in every game, including this last one, and they were.
Yes. So McCarthy had them dialed in. I felt like they were just completely ready for this game. It seemed like, even with some of the things that happened early on in the first half, it just felt like, it just never felt like you were completely out of the game, even with some of the struggles, with that tipped pick for Dak and some of the things that just happened early on that just really was trying to take the wind out of your sails and
Right.
just make you really stress a little. But they overcame a lot of those issues and just really pushed hard to really prove that they're one of those teams that needs to be there,
Yeah.
deserves to be talked about. Loved it. Just loved every minute of it. Thought it was a great game, and loved how they ended the season.
Exactly.
Especially knowing that Washington was going to come out there and try to punch us right in the teeth.
Yeah, and they tried. They just didn't have enough firepower, and it was it took a little bit to get there. I mean, Washington did the same thing to San Francisco the week before.
Sure. Exactly.
And San Francisco by the fourth quarter, third, fourth quarter, you just keep leaning on someone, and you're gonna win, and that's what happened in this one as well.
Yeah.
So.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Well, pretty excited, Nick.
Thanks,
Glad
Joseph.
to talk to you. Have a good day. Thank you.
All right, you too. That's first time caller, Chris. We got here we go, Joseph. All right, let's go. We got another text question here. We're working the text line today. This is from Jay Hin in Wichita, Kansas. What are your thoughts on Dak winning MVP? I think it should be noted he set out maybe 4 or 5 fourth quarters this season, tied for the second best record in the league. He could have easily padded stats. You're right about that. It's that tied for the second best record in the league. It's not really about the stats. I think it was that second best record and who has the best record. And I believe it was Baltimore and Lamar Jackson. And so, I mean, that's what I think Dak will probably finish second in the voting. That's what I would imagine. But Lamar has, I think he's deserved it too. So, and they're really good, and they're good on a lot of ways. I mean, they're good on defense too. But he's so tough, man. He is tough to deal with, and I don't think Dak should be. I mean, I don't think anyone should be disappointed. Really, I mean, he's had a great season, but. I think Lamar Jackson's had he's had just as good of a season, if not better, and then his team is better. And his team has had a better record, so that's usually what it comes down to, and I'm fine with that. Offensive Player of the Year, I don't think that would be him. I think Tyreek Hill was up there, but I mean CD's numbers too are off the chart. I mean that's. I think he's had 133 catches, sixth most in the history of the league. 133 catches. I mean, remember we were just talking about him breaking Michael Irvin's record for 112. That was last game. He broke it. Now he finishes with 133. That's amazing. I mean, the only person that's not probably loving that is Stephen Jones and Jerry Jones and having to do that contract. Because that's why you get the deals done, and that's one reason why you get them done. Because if you don't, now, I mean, you'll think that price tag hasn't gone up a little bit. So, all right, let's go to Dave in South Dakota. Dave.
Yes, sir.
How you doing?
First-time caller.
All right.
First-time caller.
Go, South Dakota in the house.
Long-time fan of yours, Nick. I remember didn't one year in the draft you picked like the first 3 draft picks, before it started, and pretty good job there.
2011, I mean, it's been a while, but yeah, how long ago was that? It was Tyron Smith's rookie year. That's how long. So yeah, you've been around, you've been following us for a while.
You should replace Mel Kiper Jr., man.
I don't have the hair. I don't have the hair for that.
That's true. Big shout out to D-Law. I don't think that guy.
Yeah.
Didn't he, the old Pro Bowl snub again? But
yeah.
A few years ago he was holding out for the money and stuff like that. And us as Cowboy fans, we think, hey, you should just want to play. You should play for free. You should play for minimum wage. The guy's worth every penny they pay him. I mean, he just shows up every week and does the dirty stuff, and gets the tackles for a loss. He gets the. Last night, batted his arm and causes an interception.
Sure did.
And just shout out to Tank, man. He's a stud.
Good. You're right. I'm glad you said that. I mean, he really does. And he's not the main pass rusher anymore, obviously. And Micah has that. And he does, like you said, the dirty work. But he seems to make those big plays, especially on against the run. How many times has he been knifing through there on 3rd and 1, 4th and 1, and make these plays.
Exactly.
Yeah, he's
a stud against the run, and they can run away from him, and he tracks it down from the backside. And and then I just got to say, another event in Frisco, Texas yesterday. Shout out to the South Dakota State University Jackrabbits. They won back-to-back FCS football championships.
Right down here.
You bet. Across town from you.
South Dakota. So that's not. So North Dakota has won some, right?
Shit. North Dakota State.
Yeah.
They've rewritten the records on wins, and we finally got past them, and we won last year, and we won this year, South Dakota State University, and
all right.
And big shout out to the Jackrabbits.
There you go.
Have a great day.
All right, thank you. All right. How about Joe in Washington State?
Washington State. Good morning, Nick.
Good morning. How are you doing? It's early up there.
Good, man. Yeah, it is, and we're getting our first glimpse of snow.
Okay.
Believe it or not.
All right.
So, hey, it seemed like a home game last night to us, right?
Yeah, it did. It was a lot of Cowboy fans there, and they were loud. They definitely showed out for sure.
Well, my first Cowboys game, Nick, was up in Dallas versus Green Bay. I believe it was Matt Flynn came down and played us. Lacey's rookie year, I believe, right?
Yeah, that was a big comeback.
I went with some family members from Texas, big Green Bay fans. First half, Des Bryant caught that toe tip at the back of the end zone, throwing the X up, make, 23-3. It couldn't get any better than that. Then second half came, Eddie Lacy came,
That's right.
That's, everything was looking good. Everything is looking good. Let me put it that way. Green Bay's the only one, I believe, that besides all the other teams travel really good, man.
Oh,
so that's one thing we're gonna have to try to keep up with them.
Yeah, they're gonna have a lot of fans there. There's no doubt about it, and their fans stand out, like literally. I mean, who else is wearing a cheese head? So yeah, I mean they stand out, and they're loud, and they're but I mean, they're not the only team that's ever had a lot of fans in here, and you just gotta overcome it. I mean, you gotta be better than the Packers. I mean, that's it. You gotta be better than them on the field. So, and I think that they will be. But yeah, I mean, it's not like it's just gonna be quiet for when Dallas has the ball. So.
Yeah. Another thing was, second seed. You think we're second seed's better than the fifth seed, but the way everything laid out, you think we're in the spot we want to be?
Yes, I definitely think they're in a spot that they want to be. This is as good as it could be right now. Thanks for the call, Joe. That might have been first caller there for Joe. I don't know, first time, but I after losing to the 49ers the way they did, here we go. That was for you, Joe. If they lost to the Niners obviously earlier in the season, and it's gonna be, we knew right then it was gonna be hard to pass them. So yeah, I mean, you would like to have a first round bye and just automatically go into the divisional round, and yeah, that's where you would like to be. But if it's not that, then it's this, and you're playing a 9-8 football team that's playing better. I think. I mean, they're playing better to get into the playoffs. But they lost to the Giants like 3 weeks ago. They beat the Panthers by a field goal. So they're not world beaters, but they are in the playoffs, and they are, and they beat the Chiefs on the road. I mean, they beat the Vikings. So they probably will have some confidence, I'm sure, going into this game. But I mean, again, I think when you look at their body of work, that they haven't been as good. And that's why you're a 7 seed. And that's why they're an underdog, pretty big underdog, actually. So, all right, let's get moving here. Rob in Vegas.
Here we go, Nick.
Okay, Rob. Let's go.
They accomplished the mission.
There you go.
They went in there, took care of business. Number 2 seed You got to come through AT&T. You know, I read your article. What's different about this team? I mean, best quarterback in the NFC. I mean, best wide receiver in the NFC, maybe in the league right now. Best defensive player, best kicker, and best home field advantage in the league. I mean, what else is there? They are primed. They're healthy, knock wood. I mean, what's this? Let's go. This is it. Let's go. We kept saying 12-5 is great. 12-5 is great. 12-5 is great. But you got to keep building. You got to keep taking the next step. And no more excuses. You get, I think, a favorable matchup. I'm glad that the Rams pulled it out. Not that I didn't think we could beat them, but let them go. Let them and Detroit go beat each other up.
That's going to be a game.
And I think it's a favorable matchup. We usually do very good against teams like Green Bay on the cusp, you know, kind of like Tampa Bay last year in the playoffs. Mm-hmm. And I just think we're just ready to rock and roll. Mm-hmm. Fans should be happy. Fans should be going crazy at AT&T.
Yeah.
The Packer fans will travel, but only if the Cowboy fans give up their tickets, which hopefully they don't. Mm-hmm. But I just think, listen, it was great. It was shaky in the beginning. Not shaky, but I'm sure a lot of fans like me would say, well, like, here we go.
Yeah.
The tipped ball, the block kick. I mean, you had to play defense for 4 downs, which is hard because they were going for it on every play.
Right.
But then all of a sudden, I said, you score right before half, you score right after half, and game over.
Game over.
I thought they kept. I think I criticized McCarthy. I thought he kept the starters at a little too long. I was yelling, like, what are we doing? This game is out of reach, but it worked out, and I'm excited now. I mean, can't wait.
Rob, if you're excited, we're excited. That's awesome. So.
Oh, and I got to give a shout-out.
Cowboys! There we go.
That's right. And I got to give a shout-out. I criticized him. The Montauk, he showed up.
He did. He played better. He sure did yesterday. You're right about that. Yeah.
He showed up. I said he was in witness protection like Donovan Wilson. Donovan Wilson made another great play.
Balling now,
hey,
yeah.
If they're listening to the show and they're hearing it, keep listening. They played great. And the young guys on the offensive line, I thought, played great.
Yeah, I'm going to mention them. Yeah, you're right. Thanks for the call, Rob, as always. Got Rob excited. I mean, Rob, hey, this thing's been a roller coaster all year long as well, and he calls it like it is. But you have to be excited about where this team is and how they finished and how they took care of business in that game, and that's kind of what I wrote in my article about. This is why people keep asking, does it feel different? Does this one feel different? And it does. And yesterday was an example of that. There's been times where injuries have really hurt this team, especially on one position. I mean, you got both guards out. Zach Martin's out right before the kickoff. It's like he's out of the game because he's sick. Tyler Smith out. And these guys were practicing this week. So you thought, that they were going to play. So you have to put TJ Bass and Brock Hoffman in there. And they didn't change anything. They ran the ball right there. And in fact, I mean, Pollard, there were several times, Pollard 7, 8, 9 yards. So, and I'm happy for Tony Pollard to get 1,000 yards. If people think, well, that doesn't matter, well, do it 2 years in a row. Because there's only six running backs have ever done it in Cowboys history, and he's one of them. So that was impressive. And, he did it all year long. I mean, he's not the biggest guy. But he was healthy, he ran the ball as hard as he can. I mean, I have a lot of respect for Tony Pollard. I really do. I don't think he is a lead premier back. He probably needs to be a number 2, a real shifty number 2 back, and that was his role. That's what But I think that he did an admirable job this season, and obviously not done. But, I'm glad Rob said that about the guards. And the both guards really did a good job there. And to be honest, I mean, all 3 of them right there in the center, I thought, moved people around. It was really good. All right, let's go with – we got a question here, text question from Dan in Philly. So what are your thoughts on the guards, Hoffman and Bass? Yes, I agree. They played well. I just mentioned that. Aubrey, not a concern at all. I agree with that. How about Troy Hambrick as my random Cowboy? That's Dan in Philly. Boy, Troy Hambrick. He was something. It's funny you say that after Washington. I remember it came in Washington. I guess it would be 20 years ago, 2003. He had about 175 yards in that game, and he ran the ball really well. They dominated Washington that day, and I just remember him. In the post-game press conference. He was funny. I'll just leave it at that. But yeah, Eric Bickerstaff also scored a touchdown in that game. Just a little throwback there. They beat Washington 27-0. I think we woke up and it was snowing all over the field and snowing there. Terrence Newman had 3 picks. It's been 20 years. Can't believe that. But yeah, good one for Troy Hambrick. But I agree on the Aubrey. Aubrey's that's not a concern. He comes back, hits the kick. He's been fine. Big body of work there. So I think he'll be fine moving into the playoffs. All right. Travis in San Antonio's next.
Let's go, Nick.
Let's go, Travis.
Just wanted to. I was hoping to get on before Rob because not that I wanted, because I just wanted to. Like, this is why we said 3 weeks ago. I even said like at the second half of the game, like the seeding could change just by all the results. So. When we were saying, like, it changes fast in the NFL.
Sure does.
Like 3 weeks ago, everyone was like, oh, it's going to be road. And now it's right there for you. So you never, like, I think talking about it, I think hopefully everyone's learned a lesson. Like, talking about it 3 weeks ago, let's just see, tell me who's available, like you say all the time, tell me who's available, who are we playing, and then let's figure it out. But, like, even that second half of the games yesterday, like, things could have changed. So you just don't know. It's all, playoffs is matchups.
Yeah.
So I think it's favorable. You gotta, like you said before, you can't watch that game and not give Brock Hoffman, who I was anticipating playing, and then TJ Bass, their love, because they did a great job. Not saying we don't want Tyler Smith and Zach Martin back, but I mean, I think that gives you a little bit of. It gives you a little more calm, right, with them being backups, that they can get the job done. I think, I don't know about you, but I think that corner route that Cooks runs, I said it like 3 weeks ago on Twitter, is like his best route by far, and nobody has defended it well yet.
Yeah.
So keep doing that down there. I was happy that that Lipke, got a good lead block down at the goal line there. Pollard followed them right in, so that was good to see. And I don't know, it sets up really well for them right now, and I just want to see what you think.
Sure.
But other than that, it's let's rock and roll.
Yeah, let's rock and roll. All right, Travis, appreciate that. You're right about that. Cooks, it's been 3 games in a row where it's just right there in the corner. I mean, I think it's a credit. It's not just Cooks. I mean, that is a perfect pass that Dak is just like dropping right there in the bucket. And so that right there is that's the connection. That's the part that I think is really, really good here is Dak has now 3 guys that he has a really, really strong connection with, none bigger than CD. I mean, are you kidding me? 13 targets yesterday, 13 receptions. I mean, it's like they're just like the ball's just connected to both of them. I mean, it's unreal what they're doing right now with both of them. But then you throw Cooks in there as well. They have a goal line connection as well. That's one of the things that are really doing a nice job around the goal line, throwing the ball in there. Cooks, it's 8 touchdowns this year, and then Ferguson's another guy. I mean, Ferguson 71 catches, about 750 yards. There's not a lot of tight ends in Cowboys history that have done that, 70 and 700, and being the second or third option. But Ferguson made a play yesterday right in front of the Cowboys sideline where it was just short of the sticks. He caught it and then just kind of slithered his way behind one guy, and then was spinning and turning, and it was probably going to be a 6 or 7 yard play, and he ended up getting like 13 yards. And that right there is that is what a dynamic tight end can give you. If you got that, you got a playmaking tight end that can make plays over the middle and then get it from 7-8 yards to 10 to 15 and move the sticks. that right there is a difference maker. That's what Jake Ferguson has been this year. He's really taken this team to another level. You know, one thing I was going to mention though is you know, just when you talk about the storylines, you know, obviously this shows the storyline. If you were like, this was like a bowl games, or they do this in March Madness where they actually pick the matchups. I mean, if this is what it was, we're like, all right, here are the playoff teams. Let's just figure out the matchups. You couldn't have done it any better than this. And that's not the way it works. It's just the way the seeding is. But when you look at the stories of this playoff picture, you, like I said, you couldn't write a better script. Like, all right, let's do this. Let's put San Francisco at 1. Ooh, let's put Dallas at 2. Let's put them where they can maybe have a collision course. Dallas, San Francisco in the championship game. That's great. All right, so who are we going to play with Dallas? Let's go with Green Bay. Yeah, McCarthy used to coach there. They had a lot of history. Love it. Dallas, Green Bay. What do we got? Lions and Rams. Wow, Stafford used to play for Detroit. Now he plays for the Rams. They traded for Goff. Goff's perfect. Let's put them together. Eagles and Bucks, I don't really have anything there. But you go to the AFC, Cleveland, Houston. You know, I know Deshaun Watson's not playing, but, I mean, Cleveland's going to Houston. I mean, Deshaun will be there. That's a story in itself. I'll just leave it at that. Tyreek Hill, Miami Dolphins, going to Kansas City. Tyreek's, you know, he's not shy about his words in the media and some of the things he said. So that's going to be interesting. Kansas City goes back and plays them. You know, they have other matchups there, and of course in the AFC as well. But I mean, just from a story perspective, a lot of good ones, a lot of good stuff. And you know, it's just cool to be a part of it. You know what I mean? Just that, hey, we're still in this. We're still we have to cover, but. You know, the Cowboys obviously have their own story, even though McCarthy's kind of dismissed it, you know, and you know, there's not a whole lot of players anymore from the Packers that are with the Cowboys. I mean, I'm sorry, that he coached at the Packers that are still there, and obviously the big one, Aaron Rodgers, not there, but still, I'm sure there'll be a lot of talk about that, and you know, and not just McCarthy, but Dallas, Green Bay in the playoffs. I mean, what a storied tradition there is. But still, I just wanted to point that out, how these matchups, I mean, you really couldn't write a better script. And did I not say that? Stafford going back, and Chris wrote that in. I think I said Stafford going back to Detroit, Goff playing, you know, his former team. I mean, that right there, Rams and Lions. I mean, that's unbelievable how they're going to match up in the playoffs. That's going to be a good one. And, you know, if Dallas wins the game Sunday afternoon, 3:30, if they win that game, then, you know, the winner of Detroit, I guess, if Detroit wins, well, I guess you have to, you know, if the Rams win, then I guess the Cowboys would play the 4-5 winner on Monday night. So still got to take care of business. Got to one game at a time. All right, next caller is Erwin in Denver.
Hey, Nick, how's it going? Good morning.
How you doing?
I'm doing great.
All right.
Really good win yesterday.
Yeah.
Just a couple things for you. I'm kind of glad that we relatively came out injury-free with the exception of Gilmore. I hope he's doing okay. And the last thing I just want to say and get your thoughts on it is I just hope that McCarthy doesn't go into this playoff game with any kind of pressure on him because he's going up against his old team and how that thing just kind of ended. You know, and I just wanted to get your thoughts on that, and I'll let you go.
All right. Thanks, everyone. Appreciate that. He definitely held on the line there longer than the call, and I appreciate that. Sorry for making you wait, but yeah, do appreciate those quick calls, quick points. Gilmore, I mean, this is a football player for you. You know, I'm fine. I'm good to go. My shoulder popped out. We just popped it back in. I'm fine. I mean. Cool. I mean, I would imagine it's probably a little bit more than that. I mean, because when he said that, you're like, okay, great. But then, like, I saw him, I guess, walking to the bus. I mean, he had a sling. I mean, that doesn't mean that it's not going to be okay, but it's just that he was wearing a sling just to protect it a little bit. I think he's going to be okay to play. I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't practice, like, on Wednesday. But, you know, we'll see what kind of range and motion that he can have with that. He says he's fine. McCarthy, you know, also said that, like, not really worried about it. But something to monitor for sure. But that was one of the reasons why I ended up playing the Packers. I mean, I know they have receivers. I mean, they have guys that can make some plays, but wasn't it Christian Watson just a couple years ago that had 3 touchdowns in one game, and it was Bland that was giving up some of those. I think as a rookie, that was 2 years ago. Sorry, that feels like forever ago when they played that game, Green Bay. But and then as for the McCarthy, that game in Green Bay last season, that was one. I think there was a lot of pressure on him to go up there and win that game. Coming back, I don't know if it's the same. When you're at home, he's going to downplay it a lot. The media will throw it out there, but I just think the way this team's playing at home, they know what they've got to do. It doesn't matter who it is; they've got to take care of business. That crowd at AT&T Stadium will be ready to go. There's going to be a whiteout. That is what the Cowboys have announced that they're doing. So if you're going to the game, encouraged to wear white. But it'll be a show. I mean, there's no doubt about it. I'm excited for it. I mean, I know we're still here on Monday, still talking a little bit about Washington, but all eyes forward at this point too for the Packers game on Sunday at 3:30. All right, let's keep going. A couple more calls here before we can finish this. We got Josh in Chicago.
Hey Nick, good morning. How you doing?
Hey Josh, how you doing?
Good. Glad to have another win in another 12-5 season.
Yeah, those don't get old. 12-5. And let me point something out real quick, Josh, before you get going. I've been here long enough where I saw 3 5-11s from Dave Campo. 5-11 3 years in a row. They kind of run together when you have the same. I saw 3 8-8s in a row with Jason Garrett. So these 3 12-5s. I mean, let's not forget that. Let's not forget that this is the kind of consistency that you want. Not the 5-11 or 8-8. This 12-5, because this will give you a chance to compete. If you keep rolling out 12-5s, you're going to be fine. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I 100% agree with you. And your article, I think, said it best today. Is there's something about this year though still feels a little bit different than last year, and the year before. So, I've been trying to call in for a couple of weeks and keep not getting able to get through. So I'll just say my favorite football movie has got to be Remember the Titans.
Mm-hmm.
But when The Replacements is on, I just got to sit down and watch The Replacements. It's such a good movie too.
Okay. I should try that again. I've seen it once.
Yeah.
I've seen it once.
As for this team, I think really nobody can get in their way in the NFC except for the Dallas Cowboys themselves. I really do think the way they've been playing, even the 49ers, something's been different since the bye week. Dak and CD have been different. If they stay out of their way with the penalties, I really think that they'll have a chance in every single playoff game they play. Mm-hmm. And then I got a question for you. I'll take it off the air. I think some of this early run game, something that might help is having some designed runs for Dak, especially on some of the early downs, to just get them to respect his legs and respect that element of his game as well, and maybe put that out there for the defense, open some stuff up for Tony a little bit more, Enrico a little bit more.
Yeah. I mean, all right. Thanks for the call, Josh. Good
Thanks,
stuff.
man.
Yeah. I like that. I like the design runs for Dak. I think that's something that we don't see a whole lot, and I think right now there's just the confidence level that Dak's going to step back and throw the ball, and they're going to catch it, and they're going to make the play. And if it's going to be CD, great. I mean, Ferguson, all of them. And that mentality has helped this team win a lot of games. That mentality almost got them in trouble in Detroit and Seattle game because we got this third down, should be running it to take off 40 seconds, 45 seconds or so, but nah, let's just put the game away right now because we got this. Sometimes you don't, but I mean, it's that mentality more often than not that I think has helped this team. So, it's the basketball player thinks he's going to make every shot, but sometimes you break a few, and sometimes you miss some, but it's the mentality that I think has really helped this team, and they're having a lot more success than failures, which is evident by the record and evident by the records. I mean, you can just go down the line on all these kind of milestones. I mean, it's been a fun year for that kind of stuff. All right, I think we got one more caller. Let's go to David in Fort Worth. David, what's up?
How you doing, Nick? Hey, miss you, man. Miss calling in.
How's the little one?
Pretty busy. Oh, he's good, man. He's growing. He's chunky, man. I don't know how he's getting so. I'm little, man. I'm like 5'6". He's like already like top percentile. But anyways, man, I know the show's almost over, man. I appreciate you guys squeezing me in. I just wanted to share a little bit of excitement, brother. Like I like to be a level-headed fan. I don't always think the year is our year, but man, I feel it this year. The way Dak's playing, the way McCarthy's got this team ready to go, feels very, very good. I did want to touch on something that you were kind of touching on as far as storylines. I think that it's interesting. I called before the Jets game, and I said I don't care about playing Rodgers. It doesn't matter. I don't care about beating the best. It doesn't matter to me, and I still hold that sentiment right now. But I do think it's kind of interesting that if things fall in line, the Cowboys have the opportunity to exercise a lot of demons. They can exercise the Packers, who have knocked them out of the playoffs a couple times. They can exercise the Rams, who ran all over us in 2018. Then they can go and they can knock out the juggernaut that is the San Francisco 49ers, who have been a thorn in their back. I really, really hope that they do it. Brother, I miss you. I miss calling in. I'm going to try to call in more. I appreciate you so much.
Thanks, David. Appreciate that. Good call. And, yeah, I mean, I didn't really think about the Rams perspective, but either way, like if you win that game, and if you play one of those teams, I mean, yeah, if you play the Rams, I don't think you can. Can you play the Rams? I don't think you can play the Rams because, I mean, you can play them in the championship game because, I mean, the 7th seed is the Packers, and so if the Rams win, they would play San Francisco. So the Rams would be the 6th seed, and that's the lowest seed. So I don't think you can play the Rams in the divisional round. I could be wrong with that, but
you're right about that.
Yeah, right. Okay. And so if the Rams win and the Cowboys beat the 49ers, if the Rams win, then you'd play the 4-5. You'd play the Bucks or the Eagles at home. So, hey, bring it. I mean, whoever. I mean, at this point, bring it. The way this team is playing, the way we know they can play. Yeah, they've lost some games. Buffalo, that was a stinker. And think about this. Every team the Cowboys have had that have won a Super Bowl, they've had a game like that. Even in the Super Bowl years, they've had a game late in the year where you're like, nah, this team, it's over. And I can't believe they lost this game, to the Dolphins on Thanksgiving, or I can't believe they lost this game to the, whoever, to Washington, But then they come back and you figure out a way to go and win. So, all right. We're running out of time here. Cowboys breaks me. Going to be coming up here in a few minutes. We'll hear what they have to say, breaking down the game. It's been a good one, though. A lot of good calls today. Appreciate you guys. Appreciate Chris Beam, as always. So we will see you tomorrow on Cowboys Storyline.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!